Welcome, Solar here. I hope you guys are doing well today. Welcome if this is your first time visiting the channel. Welcome if you are returning. Welcome if you are coming over from my other channel, Solar Speaks. You're all welcome here, and I thank you for being here at this time. I'm not only on my channel, but being here at this monumental shift of ages. Yeah, and this is what we're going to get into tonight. So for those of you who don't know what tarot astrology is the art of reading astrology using tarot. So I am not a classical or a traditionally trained astrologer. I tell people that I've definitely done it in a past life because a lot of this stuff is just a remembrance. So I do not work in the traditional way of reading astrology, but I do read the energy quite efficiently, utilizing the power of tarot, channeled messages, as well as tapping into the planets themselves. Sometimes they will channel themselves through me with messages. So with that said, let's get started. So tonight we are looking into the energies of the full moon in Aries. It's coming up in we're on Tuesday. It's coming up in about 2.5 days, I think, at this point. So it will be occurring if you are like in the Western Hemisphere. And for some of you, it might be occurring I think it's actually occurring for all of us on the 29th of September. I could be wrong, but I think it's happening for all of us on Friday, the 29th of September. But either way, I have it up here and I have a few of the cards out. We're going to get into it. So this full moon in Aries is bringing Aries energy. The full moon in Aries always brings really interesting energy. So the Aries energy is, we know it's fiery. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet that helps us to tune into our warrior energy. It helps us to fight through the energy of Aries. It helps us to be it helps us to be very it helps us to understand combat, but it's more the scorpionic expression of the Mars energy that helps us to get the intricacies and the strategies and tactics of warfare, whereas the Aries energy is more of an expression of that. So Aries energy is very physical, it's very fiery, it's a go-getting energy, it's very, you could call it egocentric, and your ego is not bad when you put it in submission to your divine truth. You need your ego, so your ego is part of what protects you. Yes, so Aries energy is a grand protective energy, as is Mars. You know, the Mars energy is one of the divine masculine emblems. So with that being said, the Aries energy always brings it brings the funk. It brings the fire, it brings the funk. And this is what we are moving into right now. As I am recording this, I believe the moon is in Pisces, or it should have just entered Pisces, or it's about to enter Pisces. So we're more in that like maybe dreamy energy, but Aries is about to kickstart some shit, because that's what Aries energy is supposed to do. It's supposed to kickstart some shit. And Aries energy will often kickstart the shit and the drama that needs to come forth in order to get things moving. Okay, it is the first sign on the zodiac wheel. It heralds the beginning of new cycles. So because we're moving into the full moon aspect of that energy, we are therefore kicking out things that are blocking the like new beginning energies. And because we have the nodes right now presently in Aries and Libra, and this is the first time since the nodes have made that switch that we have a full and a new moon in Aries or Libra, these energies are going to be more pronounced, right? So we have when the moon reaches its fullness on Friday. It will be Friday morning here in the UK. It will be like around, just before 11 o'clock in the morning when the moon reaches her fullness. The moon will be at 6 degrees Aries and the sun will be at 6 degrees Libra. And so I've pulled out those minor arcana cards. I haven't pulled out I don't know why I didn't pull out the major arcana, but I'm not going to go through everything right now. I will talk about those energies. But let's go into the sun first. So the sun is, when we have the sun, together with a full moon, there's definitely some kind of illumination happening. There's definitely some kind of exposure energies in order, because the full moon occurs in order for us to let go of the things that we need to let go of in order to enter into the next new cycle of the moon. So the fact that it's a full moon in Aries, and I already mentioned that the Aries energy is the beginning of something, it marks the beginning of an energy. We have, it's almost like we have the double effect of that clearing out for the new because of the nature of the Aries energy. Okay, so let's begin with the sun in Libra. So the sun in Libra is occurring at 6 degrees, which in the tarot is the Two of Swords. Now, I did a reading on my other channel last week where I was speaking about how to properly bring in karmic justice in real time. And towards the end of that message, I delved into a little bit what the energies of each decan or decan of Libra season means in that pursuit. And so the first decan of Libra is, the 0 to 9 or 0 to 10 degree mark is the Two of Swords. And so the Two of Swords, what I was channeling here is that there are things that are being shown to us right now in this period of the sun being in, that first decan of Libra. There are things being shown to us right now to expose certain energy. So we already have this energy of exposure working through this Two of Swords. And what I was being shown specifically was it was all about exposing blind spots. So things that we haven't seen, either because up until now the energies haven't supported exposure, or things we haven't seen because we weren't healed enough to receive the information, or things we haven't seen because we were still living under veils of illusion and self-deception. It doesn't matter what the reason is as to why you didn't see these things. This first decan of Libra is about helping you to expose blind spots. And a blind spot is ultimately something that has kept you from moving forward in the fullness of an energy, or something that if you don't deal with, it can blind swipe you moving forward into these new energies. So everything is all about the establishing of the new cycle. So when you step into a cardinal sign, you're always beginning a new quarter in the zodiac wheel, much like, in the year as we the Gregorian schedule, we have quarters, or even dealing with the financial sector, they split the year in quarters, right? That might be a better example. In the financial sector, we split the year in quarters. Well, it's the same thing in the zodiac, because there are three types of energy that all the signs belong to. So it's the cardinal, the fixed, and the mutable. So that's the order they begin with. So Aries is cardinal energy. We kick off the new year, the zodiac, the zodiac wheel with Aries energy. It's cardinal energy. Taurus is fixed energy. Gemini is mutable. Then we repeat that kind of energy cycle when we step into the second quarter, with Cancer being cardinal, Leo being fixed, Virgo being mutable. And now we're entering into the third quarter of the year, and we're kicking off with Libra energy, and that's cardinal. Now, when you step into cardinal energy, it's about establishing a frequency most of the time. So right now we are establishing a frequency based upon what it is we've come through and learned and established from the last two quarters, as well as the sum total of our lives here so far, as well as all of the timelines and the wisdom we've accrued and is waking up to us now because we are at the turn of ages, right? So right now we are being shown not only like blind spots from this lifetime, no, we're being shown blind spots from other timelines. And we often have this going, but there are times where it is even more magnified. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And that's also being exemplified to us with the degree, the number that, the degree of both the sun and the moon when the moon reaches its fullness, right? So they are both going to be at 6 degrees. And 6 is an interesting number because 6 in general, it is a number that begins balance. And if you take it one number further and you go into the 666, that actually speaks of the balance that comes by way of the divine feminine energy or the female aspect of God, however you want to look at it. So divine mother energy. So we have something going on here with divine feminine principles, which of course the sun expressing itself through Libra, we have that also because Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is one of the planets that helps us to get back. Venus in her evolved state helps us to get back to the divine mother or divine feminine principles that are important for maintaining balance on the earth planes and within our own realities. But 6 is also connected to Virgo energy. So we've just left Virgo season, first moon since leaving Virgo season. There's a repetition coming up here. There's still something we're being spoken to about Virgo season, and we're going to see that also when we go into Mercury, because Mercury is still in Virgo. So we are still being spoken to about these Virgo energies. There's still something that the conversations that are helping us to get through and to reach our highest timelines or our highest expression of truth. It's still operating partially through the Virgo energy, or Virgo still has something to say to us about how to reach these places, right? So on an astrological level, the 6 is to do with Virgo energy. And so the Virgo energy is about the liberation of self. It is about being able to liberate yourself back into godhood, okay? And when I say godhood, Aries energy is concerned with you taking back the position of godhead over your own energy. So I often say that your energy field is like a universe unto itself, because that's how energy works. We are like micro universes existing together. Each individual, our energy is like a freaking universe, okay? And if your energy is a universe, who has been sitting as God over it? Who has been directing it? Who has been, keeping everything in order, in alignment with who you are? Because the Aries energy is concerned about who you are. It's your, what I like to call your I am truth. It's who Source, Father God, Mother God says you are in this incarnation. It's not the entirety of your existence in the cosmos and all of your experiences, but they are the experiences that you've brought into this reality in accordance with what it is you came here to do and you came here to be at this time. It is expressed through your Aries energy, through your first house, through what we call in astrology your ascendant. Okay, so that's the Aries energy. Aries energy is concerned about you taking back that position of godhead over self. Not being God over the entirety of the universe and other beings. Nope. Only God over your own energy. Okay, so that's what it's concerned with. And so the Virgo energy is what assists you also into not only getting there, but the Virgo energy assists you in cementing that into truth. Because the Aries to Virgo energy, the first 2 quarters of the zodiac wheel are all about the cultivation of self, the cultivation of your divine resources and the building of self, in order that when you go out into the world in the 3rd quarter, you can begin to establish relationships and connections where that is reflected back to you and it can grow. And your individual wealth through the energy of Scorpio can now become collective wealth. And by the time you move into the fourth quarter, which begins with Capricorn and then Aquarius and then Pisces, it's about how you then take that wealth, the individual wealth that has now become collective wealth because it's grown by way of your interactions with other beings or external energies. Now how you use that in real ways to build and to benefit the collective. You could even say that the Capricorn, Aquarius, Piscean energies are very much concerned with the establishment of real-time legacy. But the Virgo is the door to it, because Virgo is the 10 of Pentacles energy. But we're going to get into that. We got into that in the last reading, I believe, but we're going to get into it a little bit more because Mercury is still talking to us about that. So I say all of that because the sixth degree as a Virgo energy, it's still fine-tuning us in ways to be completely true to self. Virgo is very much concerned with us being completely true to self, and the sixth house energies, which is, ruled by Virgo, is all about, the routines, the day-to-day activities, the habits, and the traditions that we incorporate into our lives in order to sustain and build that ability to live in ways that honor self, in order that we can go out into the world and be self-honoring and therefore honor one another. Okay, so we're still having this conversation with the full moon in Aries. We're still being spoken to about this energy of being true to self, learning how to wield the power of living fully in truth without compromising self or betraying for other beings, because this is how we got in trouble in the past. There's nothing wrong with compromise for as long as you're not falling into places of self-betrayal. But for most of you, you were programmed into betraying self on a consistent basis, which opens yourself to energy harvesting. I did do a whole slide selection that I put on both the community boards on both my channels, all about what people-pleasing does to the energy field. And people-pleasing is one of the most highly cultivated forms of self-betrayal. We are taught to be martyrs in the Matrix. We are taught that is being a good person, and we are constantly being taken advantage of because we want to be good. But really being good, when you remove the O, it's all about being God over your own energy. And when you can be God over your own energy, you're not trying to manipulate to get things met for yourself that, first of all, you already are doing for self, and that other beings who are also in that position of honoring self because they're God over their own energy, when they're in alignment with you, will give it to you freely. Okay, so this is part of the six, speaking of the Virgo energy and the establishment of habits and routines that support our ability to do that. So this full moon is also speaking to us very much about what still needs to go from our daily lives that have, and these blind spots, the Two of Swords energy, that have kept us from moving forward in the fullness of who we are divinely, not who we were programmed into being by the Matrix, but who we truly are, because that's the Virgo energy also. Now, the 6th degree mark is also in tarot connected to the Lovers. So that's Gemini energy, so more mercurial energy. But the Lovers card is all about, it's about choices, but it's also about your divine contracts. Okay, so as I've been doing other energy work the past few days, I keep on being brought back to two energies, and that was Gemini and Cancer season. Okay, so the new moon in Gemini was all about getting to a certain security point in order to access divine contracts, right? And then we went into Cancer season, which was all about the recalibration of our emotional foundations in order to support our new Christed mind that we hopefully acquired through Gemini season, and we were supported by the new moon in Gemini doing that. There is some kind of a return here, and the reason there is a return here is because Libra is a sublimation of those energies. So Cancer, Leo, and Virgo season were all about tuning the heart. Okay, Gemini season was the introduction of reclaiming the divine logic. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini energy is kind of like how the divine is beginning to, it's not beginning, it's the energies that we hold within us that have been given to us divinely. The first, the second, the third house. The first house is your divine identity. The second house is are your divine resources. It is your energy field, what you've been sent with in order to thrive. Okay, the third house, the Gemini energy, is about your Christ in mind. It is divine logic, and the divine logic is programmed out of you through many things, but through family, through parenting, through the institutions of the matrix and the systems. The third house speaks of it, especially if you look at it from the way that traditional astrology looks at the third house, and you could say that programming out of your truth really begins to be cemented through community, neighbors, siblings. In other words, those beings who are kind of your peers, or the ones who you're being exposed to on an everyday level, that are reflecting back to you either the truth of who you are, or they are projecting onto you their wounds. Okay, but it's a different relationship than that which you have with parents. I'm not going to go into the fullness of the parental relationship and why it's different, but the influence that parents wield over their children is very different from the influence wielded upon them by community, etc. Okay? So anyway, back to the 6-6. So the 6-6 energy is about a balance that's being restored by way of divine feminine principles returning, and is also bringing in or further solidifying, if you're already in divine contracts, but raising up the frequency of them. Okay? These divine contracts are necessary for you to move forward and to root truth into the new earth grids in order for us to begin to relate to one another in ways that are self-honoring and honoring to one another, and therefore honoring to the planet. So we're all moving into this collective energy of learning now how to interact outside of self, but still be self-honoring. Okay, and that's where the Virgo wants to keep reminding us as we go out into the world, remember who you are. You know, like maybe some of you, when you began to go out into the world, whether you were teenagers or whether you went to university, when you began to go out into the world and, explore the world, have more freedom, grow into adulthood, your parents may have sat you down and had a conversation, about how when you go out into the world, you are, a representative of them and all this other stuff, and you are to go out and to conduct yourself in that way. Well, on an astrological level, you are going out into the world now, and you are to conduct yourself in accordance with the value you have acquired through Virgo, your 9 of Pentacles energy. You got through the second decan of Virgo season. Okay, so the 6th degree mark of Libra, the 2 of Swords, we are being shown the blind spots. And so for some of you, what that's going to look like, or for some of us, what that's going to look like is because we still have 5 planets in retrograde, and then we also have Chiron still retrograding. We are still going through timelines that are showing us these places, whether it's from this lifetime or former incarnations, because, when all of these planets are retrograde, dreams become real interesting. Yeah, dreams become real interesting because you have the ability to time travel. Yeah, and we all have that ability to time travel, but it becomes more pronounced when planets are retrograde collectively, or if you are one of those beings, those beautiful, unique beings who were born with a lot of retrograde energy, you were born when the planets were retrograding, then you might find it easier to access older timelines. You may have an amazing memory. There's so many ways you can timeline jump, okay? But either way, because we have so many planets retrograding, we are, especially in your dream state, you might find that you are able to access a lot of things that are opening up the truths you need to close down old timelines, but also to close down old mindsets, old habits, let go of things that your heart has been being loyal to that really have hurt you. It's all assisting you in doing that, because Libra is all about the marriage of heart and mind. It is the grand union of heart and mind. It is what you need to be. You need your heart and your mind to be working together in divine alignment in order to move forward in the fullness of who you are divinely. What stopped you from moving forward divinely in the past, and from not accessing divine alignment, or from not accessing the energy of your sun in order to reach your north node, because the sun is how you recover the fullness of your light in order to live in your north node. What stopped you from doing that in the past was the fact that your heart and your mind were at war with one another, much like most of the energies of duality within. You see, the whole point of ascension is to bring the duality back into oneness within self first. And it's the Libra energy that helps us to do this. So right now, because we are all ascending, right? We are all at varying levels. We're all at different places on our healing journey, right? And yet the collective energy and you could say the portal that has opened is here to assist us all in seeing the blind spots that have kept us out of combining the dualities within and coming into oneness with self. In all ways, on all levels. So the heart and the mind is just one way we come into oneness. But even with this 6 energy of the sun and the moon expressing itself, this is happening. It's opening this up for us on all levels. In other words, this full moon in Aries wants to help you let go of the energies that have kept you in separation with God or with Source. In separation with your higher self, in separation with your divine truth, in separation with others that you're supposed to be divinely aligned with. Everything is about closing the gap on these separation energies. That's what you could say ultimately this full moon in Aries is helping us rid. It's doing many things, but that's one thing because of the sun being in Libra. Okay, now the moon is in Aries at 6 degrees. This is 2 of Wands energy. So the 2 of Wands in the tarot is all about our ability to go out, to take something out into the world. It is the beginning. It is the beginning. It is like, that statement, start as you mean to go on. When they're speaking about that, that is the 2 of Wands energy. In other words, what you establish through the 2 of Wands is how the energy is going to generally play out in the cycle. It's what you are, it's the beginning, it's what comes right after the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is the idea, the inspiration. The 2 of Wands is the carrying it out into the world. Okay, but what is important for you to know? What are you carrying out into the world with the 2 of Wands? You are carrying out into the world who you are divinely. You are carrying out into the world now who you are divinely. You are able to do that once you have reclaimed your position as godhead over your own energy. You are now able to show up in the fullness of truth and go out into the world in accordance with your divine purpose. So the 2 of Wands, because again, you're dealing with full moon energy, what you're dealing with right now is the kicking out of those things that have stopped you from doing that in the past. You see, as the nodes continue to move through Aries and Libra, this is the energy, ultimately, that they are supporting also. They are supporting the removal of all of those energies, mindsets, people, beings, you can call them idols and false gods, that you've placed in the position in your own energy field that should have been only for you. And you were taught and programmed and conditioned to do that so you would not be God over self. You wouldn't be God over your own energy, so other beings could manipulate you. And for the purpose of mainly energy harvesting and therefore maintaining the illusions of the matrix. And now with the nodes being in Aries and Libra, this is all about the recovery of your ability to, through the Aries energy, be God over self, and through the Libra energy, take that out into the world in all the ways that you deal with external energies moving forward. Okay? So I hope I'm articulating this well. Okay? Now, the Mercury in Virgo at 20 degrees is a very interesting degree as far as I'm concerned, because the 20-degree mark for me is the doorway out of the second decan and into the third decan. So oftentimes I will look at both energies. Okay, so it is the Nine of Pentacles in my opinion. It is the Nine of Pentacles being established now through the Ten of Pentacles. It's the doorway from the Nine of Pentacles into the Ten of Pentacles. And we've had this energy that was coming up, for me at least, since Leo season. I've been talking about the kicking out of these false legacies that upheld these matrix lies in order for the true divine legacies to rise. And this is what it's speaking about. It is speaking about, Mercury is speaking about, it's giving you the training you need to now take the value you've accrued in self and multiply it to create your new earth legacy. And it's teaching you this by way of helping you to connect with these other energies that this full moon is about. And that is about being very cognizant of how you allow other energies to dominate you, and how you've allowed other energies to sit as Godhead over your energy. So you're still getting the reminder of that, because as you go out now into the world in your new divinely aligned energy, no matter where you might be, you're more divinely aligned than you've ever been if you're vibing with my stuff. You know, whether you feel you've reached your sun and you're in North Node living or not, it doesn't matter. You're still more divinely aligned than you've ever been in your life. Right? So Mercury is still talking to you about how to live in this divine alignment that you have accrued through the hard work of getting into the Nine of Pentacles. It's showing you how to go out into the world and be with other beings while still holding on to the integrity of your truth. Okay, so it's still speaking to you about the energies of Virgo season. Virgo season was all about, you know, the liberation of self by being completely radically honest, in order that you can't be true in the world if you're not first true to self. And this is an important thing to know, because we are in the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius is about being authentic. And authenticity is not about posturing and pretending to be authentic like many beings have been doing and they're about to learn that truth. The age of Aquarius is about us being able to recover the fullness of who we truly are divinely. And we can only do that when we are living in no more self-deception, which is why the Libra energy is here to show us any blind spots we still have. It's self-deception that kept us creating the illusions. Illusions are veils of deception. And because the entirety of the matrix was created through your energy field, because that's how powerful you are, which is why they had to program you. None of this would be possible without you. None of what we're creating in the new earth is possible without you. We are creating a new earth, but we've also been creating the old. The difference was we were creating it unconsciously because our energy fields were being used to manifest these destinies and realities that were fake. And now we're going back, we're becoming, because we gave up Godhead over self, now we're taking back that position of Godhead and we're becoming conscious creators. So this full moon is about exorcising the energies that have kept us from being conscious creators. Okay? So Venus is still in Leo, at 22 degrees now. I think she's going to be in Leo for like another just over 2 weeks, I believe. 22 degrees. So 22 is a degree of, it's a Capricorn degree astrologically. And 22 is all about partnerships again. And it's to do with partnerships because 22 is also to do, because it's Capricorn, it's to do with material contracts. But Venus is in Leo, so she's still talking to us about recovering the value we lost through childhood in order that the new contracts that we step into are self-honoring. So this is all about honoring self in order to get back to the status of being conscious creators, so that when we interact with one another, we're doing it on a conscious level, and together we're creating more blissful states that ultimately are what raise the frequency of the planet and create this new earth that we've all been, talking about and pining for in our souls. So Venus is still helping us with that at the 22 degree mark. So we are learning, it's like we're learning about the repercussions that being unconscious creators or having our energy fields be used by others to manifest realities that weren't in alignment with who we are. We're still being taught about the ramifications and the repercussions of that upon how we've interacted with one another. You see, in order to create new earth relationship dynamics, we have to stop doing things the way we were taught to do them through the matrix. We have to be open to learning a whole new way. We have to be open to the fact that all of this time we've been playing games and not really loving one another because we weren't capable of loving one another for as long as we weren't loving self. So we have to first be open to the fact that we have not been, most of us, in truly loving exchanges. We haven't. We've all been manipulating for acceptance and, manipulating to get what it is that we should get naturally from beings who honor us and respect us. But until we were able to do that for self, it became very difficult to do that in relationship with others. So this is really what this full moon is helping to shift on a collective level in order to help us up the ante on our healing so that we can truly begin to set the foundation for new earth relationship dynamics. And it's not that everything is like hunky-dory, skipping through the park together and holding hands. It's not that. There's still like hard work that we're all going to have to do. A lot of us are going to have to get over all of the wounding from all of the betrayal cycles. We're going to have to learn how to let our guards down. We're going to have to learn how to let go of some of the defense mechanisms, that we've had to have up because of all of the betrayal. But we're all in this together, those of us who are truly on this journey and wanting to see this. And so as we do that work on an individual level, on a conscious level, meaning that we are aware that we have to overcome these things, as we are consciously aware and we want to move forward in love, that's what's going to begin to unfold for us too. Mars is in Libra at 21 degrees. So Mars, is expressing himself through the Four of Swords energy, but the 21 degrees is also connected to the world. There's something that is coming to an end through this full moon, and not just because it's a full moon, but because of the way the planets are moving through this energy, and the fact that it's Mars expressing itself through this world card energy, and we're dealing with a full moon in Aries, which again is ruled by Mars. It feels like there is the end of war, or there's a possibility for the end of war, but the end of war, it's the end of war within self. It's no more warring with self. It's no more choosing energies outside of self over self, because that's ultimately what puts us in states of separation and division and war within self, is when we choose things outside of self over what we know what we either know consciously is right for us or what our soul knows is right for us. Again, when we betray self, it's like, think about in a relationship, if you betray another person or they betray you, doesn't it change the entirety of the dynamic of the relationship? Doesn't it destroy intimacy? Well, that's what all of these cycles of self-betrayal have caused us. And so what we were seeing outside of self being manifested in our reality through the betrayal cycles with others was also always a reflection of what was going on within. And so if these planetary energies are here to bring an end to inner war, for as long as you're doing the work, if they're here to assist you in bringing an end to the energies within that have kept you at war with self, then because you're creating your reality through your own energy field, if you are in union with self, what are you going to call in? Are you going to, and you're no longer betraying self for other beings' acceptance, or from places of low self-worth or lack of trusting self and your own power and your own divine guidance and all that other stuff. If you're no longer betraying self, are your fields open now to energies that can come in to betray you? No. And yes, this is something that has to be established over practice, absolutely. But that's the point of what these energies are helping you to do. They're helping you to seal yourself off from self-betrayal. Courtesy also of the Virgo energy expressing itself through Mercury, as well as through the 6-6 energy. You're coming back into the ultimate divine contract, and that is with you. Okay? And when you come back into divine contract with self, with your higher self, when you become godhead over your own energy field again, and you say what goes, and you no longer budge and remove yourself as God over your own energy, then you will begin to call in, and this is the purpose, we will begin to call in beings that also reflect that truth, who also know who they are and have taken back their authority over self, their authorship over self, their godhead over self, and therefore the same way they honor that in self, they can honor it in you, and the same way you honor it in self, you can honor it in them. So this is what this full moon and the nodes in Aries and Libra in general, this is what it's kicking off. You know, this is going to be a theme not only for this full moon in Aries, but it's something that we're going to be seeing rolling out while the nodes are in Aries and Libra. Yes? Okay. I don't really feel like going into all these retrograde energies. I don't want to keep this very long because I am going to be coming back on here with what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to delve into the energies of how this full moon in Aries is affecting all of you in accordance with your houses. So for example, if your first house is ruled by Aries, like it is collectively, we're going to look at that. If your second house is ruled by Aries, your third house, your fourth house, your fifth house, your sixth house, all the way to the 12th house, we're going to look at the houses that are ruled by Aries and what you can expect to shift for you, or you can expect because of this full moon. So I will be doing that. I might pull cards for each sign. We'll see how it goes. I haven't really put together how I'm doing it yet, but that is the plan. So I want to keep this reading, relatively short. So I don't think I'm going to go into that, but I will look very simply at the North Node and where it is in, Aries and Libra. We know that, but it's at the 25-degree mark. 25 degrees, not for nothing, is a degree of Aries. It is an astrological degree of Aries. Yes, it is. So even the North Node is expressing Aries energy through an Aries degree. That's how important this reclamation of your ability to be a conscious creator is at this juncture of the journey. And this is what is opening the door for all of that, okay? Not for nothing, the 25, when you break it down, is a 7. We are in a number 7 year. but also these energies are really kicking off now, because they won't be fully established, but they will be materially real in the collective, not on an individual level, collectively by 2025. That's another way you can read the energy. Another thing is that the 25 mark, when you break it down, like I said, is a 7. So it's all about the Chariot. This is about the recovery of your light body, okay? So when you become a conscious creator, when you take back Godhead over your energy, it's because you are becoming the driver again of your own light body. You are becoming the driver of your own spaceship, okay? And that's what this is showing again. How are you doing that? Well, the 2 is the High Priestess, the 5 is the Hierophant. Okay, so this is speaking about the revelation of certain things that have kept you out of union, okay? But it's also about the revelation of certain things that institutionally have kept us at war with self. This is what the nodes are exposing. You know, like I said, that 2 of Swords energy is about helping us to see our blind spots, right? But the nodes being in Aries and Libra over this next like a year and a half, it's going to also be about exposing how we've been institutionally kept out of that ability to be sovereign. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think that's a good amount of time. I think that's a good amount of information. I hope that this tarot astrology reading was helpful. I wish you guys all a really, really beautiful full moon in Aries. The wonderful thing about Aries energy is that it makes people bold. I love Aries energy. It makes you bold. It makes you bold in order to stand up for who you are. So utilize the power of this energy, this full moon in Aries, to stand up for who you are. Whenever I think about the full moon in Aries, I always think of that song. What is the name? I can't remember the name of the comedian right now. I think her name's Jennifer Lewis. And the full moon in Aries energy for me is like that song that she did. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's the full moon in Aries energy. Ain't nobody got time for people who want to fuck around in your energy. No more. No more. It's no more. The full moon in Aries says, you know, no more. No more fucking around with you in these streets. No more. Okay? So anyway, I hope that this message was helpful, insightful, inspiring, clear. If you would like to work with me, if you'd like to get a tarot astrology reading done, or work with me one-to-one in mentorship, you can find out all that information on my website, Solara with an H.info. That information will always be in the description box below. If you would like to donate to the work that I do or to any one of my channels, you can do so through my PayPal, which is also below, and I thank you in advance for your generosity, and I thank you for all the ways that you've supported me so far. I really do appreciate all of you guys. If you would like to tune into my other work and you haven't, on my other channel, Solara Speaks, I'm pretty sure that the link is in the box below. I'll try to remember to check that, but I think it is. What else? Please remember, if you have gotten this far and you have enjoyed my content, to like the video. This is how we get things moving and how we get the message out to other beings who are vibing on the same level. And, you know, it's through us collectively waking up that this new earth becomes established. So yes, I'm sending you guys all so much love, joy, peace, focus, stability, more joy, more peace. And I wish you a beautifully bombastic, I don't know why that word's coming through, but it just feels like it fits the Aries energy, a beautifully bombastic full moon in Aries. I'll see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.